I am recording this video on my college-issued school Chromebook. I don't want to hear about quality. I don't want to hear about audio. I need to get this information out into the world as soon as possible. In this video, I will be proving my point that Regina George from the 2004 movie Mean Girls is a lesbian. I'm going to start this video by making the point that in 2004, having a gay main character in the movie was still not as common as it is now. I don't want to hear about "but I'm a cheerleader." I don't want to hear about any of that. We'll get into that later. We probably won't, but from the beginning of the movie, we see that Regina truly only holds like a genuine respect, her idea of respect towards women, because she really doesn't use them as much as she does men. But throughout the whole film, there's not a man that she's involved with that she's not using. She's only involved with a man if they happen to be in her close-knit inner circle of only women. She might have been like mean and disrespectful towards like everyone around her, but she treated men significantly worse because she manipulated and used them to get closer to women and have more control over women. You know, she gives Gretchen, Karen, Katie rides home from school, specifically in the sweatpants scene. She says, "Y'all can walk home." She was doing that out of the kindness of her evil lesbian heart. As an evil lesbian myself, when we do something nice for someone, it means a lot. We don't do a lot of nice things for people. She never does that with men, though. I mean, they're not getting anything from her. People love to argue that she dated Aaron.
To bring something else up, around this time is when a lot of masked lesbians looked exactly like Justin Bieber. Take one look at this man.
And, you know, cheated on him with a guy. First of all, compet, we'll get into that later. But the only reason that she dated Aaron was to, in my opinion, get closer to Katie and have something against Katie. Prevent Aaron from getting with Katie. She was cheating on Aaron, sleeping with that dude. It's because she views them as below her. She was using them. They're all a tool for her insane, clinically thought out emotional manipulation. If she put that much thought and skill into regulating her own emotions, the movie wouldn't have happened. But she's a closeted lesbian in the early 2000s. She can't process emotions like that. Get off her. You know, they also bring up that Janice and Regina had a huge falling out. What's one thing that makes an already evil lesbian even more evil? A terribly messy lesbian breakup. Also, I'd like to argue, Katie and Janice are the villains of that movie. They are so much more evil than Regina ever thought about being. They are terrible. But I'll admit, some of the stuff Regina did was a little messed up. But not even, like, everyone's like, oh, the burn book. That was supposed to be between her and her little friends. Y'all can't tell me that you don't get together with your friends and then beat a dead horse for hours at a time. You meet at Chili's, you get a triple dipper, and you make fun of the same people that you've been making fun of for years. That's just what you do. I had a burn book. So, it never got out of my little circle. My little circle. The only reason it got out is because Katie decided to be the most evil person on the planet. Like, it's all Katie's fault. Katie did not have a sense of justice. People love to think that she did. She didn't have anything. Gay marriage was only legalized in 2015. That's almost 11 years after Mean Girls came out. And even then, after 2015, it was so uncommon to see a gay character be a main prevalent character with actual, like, background and everything. You know, everyone's like, oh, but Damien was gay. Girl, think about his screen time compared to literally everyone else. And think about the amount of background that his character had. The most we get out of him is that he was sent to a fat camp, and even then, that's in a deleted scene. That's poking fun at a gay character. That's all we got back then. Did this movie come out before I was born? Yes, I don't want to hear it. Do I think Regina had a big old fat crush on Katie? Absolutely. But after what she went through with Janice, her big evil lesbian breakup that turned her horrible, understandable, I would have done the same thing. Her only response was to start being evil, which is so real. Like, I get it. I understand her. She's me. I'm her. I believe Regina would have been a kind and caring individual if she did not go through an evil lesbian breakup with Satan herself, Janice Ian. I also believe Janice would not have been even more evil than Regina if she did not fumble Regina. Regina George has been a gay icon since 2004. Can you tell me one gay man that didn't have a Regina George phase? They all thought they were her at some point.
I would also like to add in that for years, gay men and straight women have been mischaracterizing my girl. Y'all hear that she's mean and blonde and gorgeous, and you run with it. But she has far more depth than that, and that is the point of this video. People love to do something horrible and mean and then say, I am in my Regina George era. Guess what? She would never do half the shit that any of you guys are doing.
In 2024, when the remake released, Renee Rapp came out and said that she played Regina George as a lesbian. Well, a closet lesbian. She fixates on women, had a past relationship with Janice, and she has a really controlling nature towards other women. All of this is her acting under her compulsory heterosexuality for the entire movie, and probably for her entire life. She only uses men to have more control over women. And I'm going to bring it up again. Teenage girl. Early 2000s. Closet lesbian. You think she would have good control over her emotions? Especially after a terrible lesbian breakup with Satan herself, Janice Ian? She absolutely would not. It's clear that she does not have good control over her emotions. The most emotionally mature thing she did was put down all of her big feelings about people into a book. That was real. I forget to do that sometimes. You know? But that was the most, emotionally sound thing she did throughout that whole movie. She doesn't know how to process her emotions, and that's okay. No teenage girl does. I'd also like to bring up that making an entire book about people who are, slightly odd or, piss you off a little bit, that's Larry David behavior. That's how certain characters in Seinfeld were made. That is how Seinfeld plotlines happen. Also, this is... If a straight girl in high school needed to get revenge, she would have formed a plan just like Katie did. And even then, Katie had to call in her 2 little gay minions. She had to call in 2 gay people to help her make that plan to get back at Regina George.
Just another thing, if someone wanted to get, evil petty revenge on me and went to one of my exes to learn how to do that, or one of my evil ex situationships, I would start eating my own organs. The way that Regina reacted was valid.
You know what Regina did? As soon as she found out about the Caltine bars, she went home, formed a plan, all on her own. She was forming that plan while she drove home. She knew exactly what she was going to do. She got home and immediately enacted her plan. Nobody knows how to get evil petty revenge like a lesbian. A straight woman could never do that. Especially a straight girl in high school. They would never think to do something as conniving and well thought out as Regina did. Also, at the end of the movie, they say that Regina's therapist told her to get into a sport to help get out her anger. If Regina chose tennis out of every other sport that was offered at that high school, I would not be making this video. Because that seems, as much as the character that they were trying to play her up to be, she would have picked tennis. She could have picked softball. She could have picked soccer. She could have picked volleyball. Even then, if she picked volleyball, I would not be making this. She picked lacrosse. She picked a high-contact sport with women. That is one step away from rugby, and one step away from rugby is dry humping on the field. That is a lesbian choice. That was the closet is glass.